Hello, my name is Kevin Vandecar. I'm a manager within the Developer Advocacy and Support group. Our team supports the Autodesk Developer Network, and which includes all of our desktop APIs as well as the Autodesk Platform Services APIs. So in this video, I just want to spend a little bit of time showing how you can set up an Inventor C+ add-in for debugging. It's pretty straightforward, but there's a few different options that you can manage that can give you the best debugging experience. All right, so let's start by talking about how Inventor loads the DLL. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to work with a sample. So I've got the SDK installed. I'm going to go into the add-ins folder under the samples, and I'm going to use the client graphics add-in. Okay, so first thing you're going to notice is that there's a README for each sample, and it helps you to understand how the samples work. And then there's an add-in file here. This add-in file is important because it tells Inventor where the DLL is and some load parameters, okay? So this file has to live in a very specific location. So what I've done is I've already copied that over to the proper location, and you'll find that over here in the Windows Program Data Autodesk Inventor 2026 folder, and you may need to create the add-ins folder. Okay, so that location may not already have add-ins if you don't have any other add-ins running. But once that folder is created, then you can copy the add-in file into that folder. Okay, now let's take a look at that file. I've got it loaded up in Visual Studio. So this is the file that I was just referencing, program data, so forth. Okay, and you can see here that there's some information, there's a description, and then the most important thing here is the assembly file. So this is the DLL that Inventor is going to load, all right? And you notice that there's no path or anything on this, and so that means the DLL, in order to be loaded in this default state, needs to be located here. Okay, so now let's check and see how the DLL is built. So first and foremost, when you're needing to debug something, make sure you have the debug config set, okay? Because the debug config contains the instructions for the compiler to create program database and debugging capabilities for your assembly. Okay, we'll go into the properties for this project, and the first thing you're going to see is the output directory is platform configuration. All right, so let's go ahead and rebuild this solution. All right, we'll let it build, and while that's doing it, we'll go back into properties, and let's see how this plays out, these two variables. So you can see here the output is platform, which is x64, and that's relative to the location of the source code. So that's where my sample is located. So platform x64 configuration debug, and you can see that's the debug config I have. So that's going to be the folder. And then in that folder is client graphics.dll. Okay, so this is typically the default, and that's okay. That is where it's going to build your project by default. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to my Explorer, and we'll go into x64, debug, and here's the output. So there's the DLL. So if I copy that and I put it into the folder that contains the add-in, this is all that's needed to get the plugin to load. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start Inventor and just show that it's available and it will load. And I'm going to just pause the recording while Inventor starts. All right, so here we are in Inventor now, and you won't see the add-in loaded just yet because this is a new add-in. It hasn't been configured to load every time you start Inventor, for example. So what we'll do is we'll go to the Tools tab, Add-ins tool, and you'll see here's my client graphics plugin or add-in, and I'm going to click load, and you'll see now the status is loaded. Now we can also set load automatically, and the next time we run Inventor, it's going to load itself as well. Okay, so we'll do that. May not be necessary in a production environment depending on what you've got, But for debugging, this is handy. You won't have to go in here every time and load that DLL manually. Okay, and once it loads, then this new add-in tab shows up, and the commands in my add-in are going to be on this menu bar. Okay, and what I've done is I've set a breakpoint and draw graphic strips. So let's go back over to the code. This is the source file, and this is the draw graphic strips. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and execute this command, and you'll see it runs. Okay, it's creating some client graphics, but it didn't hit any breakpoint. And that's because the DLL is sitting there in that folder by itself. Okay, and so that DLL, even though it contains some minimal debugging information, it doesn't have enough information for Visual Studio to understand to start debugging. Okay, so even if I were to attach to Inventor at this point, it's not going to work. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shut down Inventor at this point. I'm going to switch back over to my file manager and look at the folder of the built program. Okay, so here you can see there's a DLL, that's what's executing, but there's also 2 PDB files here. Okay, so we're going to copy both of those PDB files over to the runtime folder. Okay, so that's all we did is just copied them over, and now the program database will be there. So now how do we get Visual Studio to connect to these files and actually be able to debug? So I'm going to go back over to Visual Studio, and I want to show the way to set up your debugger. Okay, so the most convenient way to do it is to go back into your property for the project, go to the debugging section in the configuration properties, and you'll see command and working directory and command arguments. So this is a DLL, so target path will never work. In fact, let's show that. You're going to get this error, unable to start, because it's a DLL, right? You can't debug a DLL without a parent process executing it. So we need Inventor to execute it. So what we can do is we can come here and we can make the debugger look for Inventor. So the best way to get the Inventor path is to come into Windows, right-click on the Start shortcut, open that location, okay? And here's the Start shortcut. You can right-click and say Properties, and this is the command line that the shortcut uses to execute Inventor. Now, why did I do it this way and didn't just browse for it? First of all, you may not even know where it's installed, so it's easier to come here and just copy the path. But you'll also notice that there are some arguments. And many times the shortcut will contain configuration parameters that the executable may need. In this case, it's for language. Okay, so I'm going to copy that whole line from the shortcut, and I'm going to come back over here, and my target path is going to be the Inventor executable. Now, this is a command line argument, so it can't live there. The way the debugger works, you have to put any command line arguments in this second edit box, and it also doesn't like quotes, usually. All right, and the other thing to pay attention to, it may not be important in all cases, but what is the starting folder? So I always come here, take the start in, and come back over here and put that as the path here as well. Now, you notice that I just pasted the path directly in here, so it's hard-coded in this property page. You could also use that variable and set that variable in your environment before loading up the project. You know, you'll have to load the project in the same environment where the variable is set in order for Visual Studio to pick it up, but that would also work. And that's a way to configure the debugger without needing to have the project modified if you want. So you could just create a batch file, set those variables to these values, and then start Visual Studio, and then everything should be set in that way as well. I find this easier, especially if you're working with one program, simply because you see it. You know it's going to work and it's going to be there. Okay. So I'll go ahead and close that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the debugger. So I'm going to execute this, and you're going to see it's going to actually start inventor.exe. You can always already see in my modules, that's what's running. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pause while this starts up. All right, now I've got Inventor started. I've created another new part just to get into the editor. And you can see that add-ins is already here. And that's because we set that plugin through the plugin add-ins manager to load automatically. So you can see that's still set to automatic loaded. So that's great. So that's one less thing we have to do each time we want to start up Inventor and debug it. Okay, and now when I execute draw graphic scripts, you'll see it immediately jumps over into my debugger, and I basically have access to my source code. And I can step through this line by line, typical debugging, and it works as you would expect. I'll just go ahead and press continue, let this function execute, and you can see I get the same behavior as before. All right, so that's the most straightforward way to debug a C+ DLL, but that's not always the most flexible. So many people like to have their build environments with custom folders and outputs and all that kind of stuff, and that's absolutely fine as well, and we can make that work as well. So this is the default, easy way to do it. But let's say we want, our output to go somewhere else. So I'm going to move it over to a temp folder. So I'm going to go to my D drive and temp. I'm just going to create a new folder here called Inventor Debug. Okay. And I'm going to copy those files here. Okay. So including the DLL. And now we have to think about how is this going to work in order to load the DLL. So that's where we can go back to this add-in file. Whoops, let me switch back over to Visual Studio. And we can set this up to be the proper location. All right, so we can get the path easy enough. We could type it here, that'd be fine, but it's easier just to come over here. This is where the add-in is, and this is where the output files are. Okay, so this is the path we want to debug against. So I'm going to just copy that from my File Explorer, come back over here, put the path in there, make sure you put in the right slashes, and then save it. And you can see this is a full different drive, temporary location for me. And this path could be as complicated as you want. It could be on a network, whatever it is. All right. Now, the other question is, how do we get this DLL to be built there? So the other part of this is, let's look at properties. And the general tab, again, contains this output directory. So if you remember before when we built the project, so let's just go ahead and build that again. Whoops, it didn't provide the right output. Let's rebuild it. And you'll see, it's x64 and debug, right? So for output, we can actually put any folder we want here. It doesn't have to contain those platform and config. It could contain the platform and config, whatever you want, but this whole thing is going to be appended together. So technically, we could also put that location where our DLLs are located in this configuration file. So that would be one way to build the PDB and not have to copy it every time you rebuild it, the PDB and the DLL, to the proper location. Now you want to set both output and intermediate to that location so that the intermediate files include the PDB. So what that will do is all of your output is going to be moved to that location. Now that can get polluted very quickly, especially if your output folder is containing other projects, shared DLLs, other project output, and so forth. So you could get a lot of junk in there, all the OBJs and the temp files that Visual Studio creates and so forth. So what might be a better way to do this is I'm just going to cancel this. No, put it back to the way it was. And instead of changing this, what we can do is we can take this config and we can go to build events and the post build event. And you can say, I want to add a new build event here. And what it will do is at the end of post build, it can execute a command that you provide. Okay. So what this does is allows you to basically, you could put the command directly, copy this, and you would use the, I think it's target path or target name, something like that, and get the entire file name from your projects and just copy it over to, whoops, the D : folder. Okay, so we could just copy it. Now, a lot of people use batch files because they can do other things. They can copy them to multiple locations for build output and so forth. So that's all up to you. But this is a handy way to do it. And it doesn't require you to modify some of the basic settings like the output directory that's here. So you can keep all your output as normal relative to the project itself, or maybe just to some other temp location that you're going to clean every once in a while. That would all be fine. But then use this post build event. Basically, this will only get executed after a successful build. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as manual. I've got the full path configured here. And if we go back and just double check our folders, this is the temp folder. This is where the add-in is. And this is where those files came from in terms of the build output. So I've got a copy of them now in my temp folder. And that add-in, just to summarize, is now pointing to that file. All right, so let's go ahead and start the debugger. All right, so I've got Inventor started under the debugger again. You can see the add-ins is here and the same process to enter that function. And you can see the debugger works this way as well. So that just goes to show that your tools can be basically placed anywhere, and you can configure things to work in your own environment the way you want. Now, what you'll have to think about when you're ready to go into production and runtime is whether or not those PDBs are present and that kind of stuff. So just remember that when you're ready to go production, you may have to clean up some of those things just to make it better for the output. All right, hopefully you found this video interesting. Thank you for watching. Just encourage you to follow us on our YouTube channel and on our LinkedIn at these links. And then please click thumbs up if you found this helpful. And if you're interested in more amazing Autodesk API content, go ahead and subscribe to this channel.